After visiting Rome for the very first time, I realized that there were so many things I didn't know that I wish I knew beforehand. Don't get me wrong, Rome is beautiful, but it can also be very chaotic, especially if you're not prepared. So, if you're planning a trip to Rome, before you start planning what you're going to wear, the ancient ruins you're going to see, and the food that you want to eat, I'm going to share with you 10 things that you need to know before you go. Okay, the very first thing is to book major attractions in advance. This is the number one mistake first time visitors make, including myself. Attractions like the Colosseum, the Vatican museums, the Sistine Chapel sell out very fast. Don't assume that you can just walk up and buy a ticket then and there. I recommend booking tickets in advance at least 2 weeks before your trip. Look for skip the line or early access options. I think they're worth it. Thing number two that you must know before visiting Paris is to know the church's dress code. Churches like St. Peter's Basilica and the Pantheon. Many of these places have a dress code, which means no bare shoulders, no short shorts or mini skirts. I went during the winter time, so this wasn't necessarily a problem for me since I was wearing jeans and a coat most of the time. But if you're going during the summertime, you need to keep this in mind. The third thing is that cash is still very common in Rome. Rome can be modern, but not completely. While big places accept cards, small shops and bakeries still prefer cash. And if they take your card, some of these places will have a minimum card fee. I suggest to carry some euros just in case. A tip I can give you is to use the ATMs inside banks for more security and better rate exchange. Thing number four is to be aware of afternoon closures. Rome still follows the riposo tradition, which is similar to a siesta. This means that some shops and restaurants close in the afternoon time, usually from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. This doesn't happen everywhere, but it's especially popular in neighborhood areas. So don't plan shopping or dining in the middle of the afternoon without checking their schedule first. Thing number five is that meal times are later than you think. In Rome, dinner doesn't usually start until 7:30 p.m. or 8 p.m. A lot of restaurants don't even open until then. So if you're used to having dinner at 5 or 6 p.m., prepare to adjust a bit. Lunch is usually between 1 and 3 p.m. And between those meals, a gelato or aperitivo is usually acceptable. A tip is to look for restaurants where locals are eating, not just tourists. Don't just go to the places where it's packed with tourists, because the food from those places is usually not very good and very pricey. The sixth thing is that public transportation can be unpredictable. Rome's buses are known for being late or don't show up at all. And Google Maps isn't always accurate for bus times. So if you're planning on using public transportation, I recommend to download the app Move It. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I'm going to put it on the screen, or the ATAC Roma app. These apps are much more reliable. The seventh thing is to bring a reusable water bottle. Rome has over 1,500 water fountains called Nosani, and the water is clean, cold, and safe to drink. These fountains are everywhere and even near major attractions. This will help you save money and stay hydrated. The eighth thing I wish I would have known before going to Rome is to beware of tourist traps. Rome is packed with incredible food, but it's also packed with overpriced restaurants. These restaurants usually cater just to tourists. A good rule of thumb is to avoid restaurants with picture menus, people trying to pull you in, or dining next to major attractions, like the Colosseum or the Trevi Fountain. My tip is to walk a few blocks away from the crowds and check Google Maps or TripAdvisor for good restaurants. Thing number 9 is to learn a few basic Italian phrases. You don't need to be fluent by any means, but a few phrases can go a long way. Simple phrases like buongiorno, which is good morning, per favore, which means please, and grazie, which means thank you. Believe me, locals will appreciate it. And honestly, it can just make interactions easier and smoother. Believe me, the effort counts more than actually how you pronounce things. Thing number 10 is to be pickpocket smart. Rome is safe overall, but pickpocketing is very common, especially in tourist areas. Areas like the metro, the Colosseum, Trevi Fountain, and the Termini station. I advise you to keep your phone and valuables in your pockets with zippers or in a crossbody bag. Do not leave your valuables in easy to reach pockets. And if you're using a backpack, wear it in front of you in areas like the metro. Rome is one of those places that can take your breath away, but knowing these tips will help you enjoy the city without the stress. I hope these tips help you feel more prepared and excited for your first trip to Rome. But if you're flying internationally to get there, make sure to check out this video where I go over all the essentials you must bring for your next long haul flight. I break down everything you need to stay comfortable, entertained, and stress-free from takeoff to landing. I'm gonna leave it on the screen so you can watch it next.